before going into the plant-water relation, I want to give you few information about the osmosis. So far I was talking about the osmosis, right? Then there is some significance of the osmosis. So if you see the significance of the osmosis, the first significance is it maintains the cell wall and God cells. You know that the function of the God cells. Without God cells, the stomata will not be functioning. So, osmosis is very important to functioning of the God cells. The first significance is maintains the cell wall and God cells. The second significance is absorption of water through root hairs. You know that the water has to be absorbed only through the root hairs. So this is the second significance. The third significance of osmosis is movement of plant and plant parts. This is the third significance. So these are the three significance which is associated with osmosis. Okay. So that's all about the osmosis. Next we move on to imbibition. Imbibition. Imbibition is simply to say it is adsorption of water. It is adsorption of water. So when the water is getting absorbed via the solid substances so that it will not form any solution. So this is the reason why imbibition is happening. In simple, you can say it is adsorption. It is not an absorption. It is an adsorption of water by solid substances. So imbibition, that there should be something, it has to be imbibed, right? So those solid materials which imbibe the adsorption of water, we called as imbibients. We called it as imbibients. The imbibients should be solid. It could be dry wood which is present in the plants, that acts as a imbibients. Okay, so to give a precise example of the imbibition, the first thing for imbibition, the process of imbibition required is germination. Germination of seed involves imbibition. Germination of seed involves the imbibition. Okay, so as you all know that seed has to be first germinated. So for that imbibition is required, that is adsorption of water. To say precisely about the imbibition, I just want to give an example which is happening in the day-to-day life. Like you must be aware of that. Usually in the rainy seasons, wooden doors will be swell. Wooden doors will be swell in the rainy season. Okay, this wooden door swelling is happening in the rainy season all because of the imbibition. So this is about the imbibition. Next, we move on to absorption of water in plants. Next, we move on to absorption of water in plants. This is the next subheading which is associated with transport in plants. See, transport does not carry only into the cell. It has to be absorbed also to the cell. Okay, that part is taking place in the absorption. So absorption of water in plants. Usually, what is the one part of the plant which is involved in the absorption is root hairs. This root hairs are present in the root apex. So, via the root hairs alone, the water will be absorbed in plants. So, when you pour a water in the soil, what happened is the root hairs which is present in the root apex absorb the water and take it to the either to the underground part of the plant or to the aerial part of the plant. Okay, so this root hairs, while taking a water, how does it happening? For that it require a pathways, right? Before going into the pathways, how does this root hair is functioning? So this root hair has to carry the water from, it has to carry the water from epidermis to endodermis of cell. So water has to carry from epidermis to endodermis of cell. Okay, so it has to carry the water. So while carrying this water, it goes into a two pathway that we called it as one pathway, we called it as apoplast pathway. The second pathway which is associated with is symblast pathway. We'll see first the apoplast pathway. Apoplast pathway. Apoplast pathway is, it has to carry water from root hairs to the remaining parts of the plants. So while carrying the water from the root hairs to the remaining part, that is xylem, especially the xylem. So in apoplast pathway, I'll write it down here for apoplast pathway. First is water has to absorb by root hairs. Correct. From root hairs, this has to carry to the xylem of the plant. Okay. So while carrying the xylem of the plant, it will not have any crossing membrane. It will not have any crossing membrane. So the water from the root hairs directly absorb into the xylem, okay, without crossing any membrane is apoplast pathway. Next is symblast pathway. In symblast pathway, water has to absorb by root hairs, and to take it to the xylem, it requires a crossing membrane. Here, the membrane which is involved in the symblast pathway is plasma membrane. Via the plasma membrane, the water will be absorbed and it will be distributed to the adjacent cells. Okay, now based on this crossing membrane, the symblast pathway is further divided into non-vacuolar symblast pathway and vacuolar symblast pathway. Non-vacuolar symblast pathway. It means here, just like a symblast pathway, the functioning will be the same, but only difference here is no vacuoles will be involved. No vacuoles will be involved. Only the plasmodesmata of the cell alone will be involved in the non-vacuolar symblast pathway, whereas in the vacuolar symblast pathway, vacuoles will be involved. So, apart from the plasma membrane, the water will also enter into the tonoblast of plant. So, when it enters into the tonoblast of plant, the vacuole will be open. So, via that adjacent, cells will also reach out its absorption. So, this is a pathway which is involved in the absorption of water. Now, how does this water is going to absorb? Okay, just like as I've told you in when first part of the class, that is by way of active transport and passive transport. That's the same way here the water absorption is also going to takes place. Here the water absorption will be takes place by active absorption. Active absorption. It means, again, when I say active absorption, ATP is required for this active absorption. So, for this, continuing with that active absorption and passive absorption, we will discuss in the further classes. So, I was talking about the mechanism of water absorption. When I talk about the mechanism of water absorption, as I've already told you, here it involves the two-way. One is active absorption. Another one is passive absorption. This is going to be the same for active and passive. For active, it requires the ATP, and for the passive, it does not require the ATP. Okay, but there is one difference it's going to happening in the active absorption. That is, the active absorption is based on the osmotic absorption. Active absorption is based on the osmotic absorption or non-osmotic absorption. Osmotic absorption, that is, you know that from lower concentration to higher concentration with the help of ATP. This is going to be happening. But how does it going to be happen? In osmotic absorption, osmotic pressure of cell sap is higher than soil water. So, based on that, absorption will be happening in the osmotic absorption because it increases the suction force with osmosis. Okay, in non-osmotic absorption. So, non-osmotic. So, it clearly says here the osmosis is not going to take place. So, this is against the osmotic gradient. How does it going to happen in the non-osmotic absorption is here osmotic pressure is higher in soil water than the sap of plants. So, this is normally will not be happening. This is against the osmotic gradient. So this is about the active absorption. In that we have two classification. One is osmotic absorption, another one is non-osmotic absorption. Next we move on to passive absorption. Passive absorption, it does not require the ATP involvement. Now how does it going to happen? Now normally in transpiring plants, what happened is when the mesophyll cells lose water. So when the mesophyll cells lose water, what happened is the turgor pressure will be decreases, whereas diffusion pressure deficit will be increases in the cell. So that leads to the connection with adjacent cell. So what happened is that adjacent cell also will has the turgor pressure decreases, DPD will be increases. That's how passive absorption will be happening in the plants.